He says, my wife and I are getting divorced. After our son was born, about a year ago, fighting and bickering started relentlessly. My wife asked for a divorce, and I told her I'll give her a divorce, but first she needs to attend therapy because I thought she was having PPD, postpartum depression, symptoms, irrational outbursts, hormonal rage, etc., etc. Okay, so the divorce is her idea. Now I can't begin to imagine what it's like to carry a little human being in your stomach for freaking 9 months and then give birth and all that. Sure, it's going to definitely do some things to you, but there's a difference between what you're hearing about just like the outburst and rage and treating the guy horribly, and you get the point. It's too much, and that's inexcusable. And already, she wants a divorce. She actually agreed to go to, but unfortunately, I let her get a therapist herself, and she chose an incompetent woman. There are therapists that are good ones out there, but a lot of them are bad ones. Let me guess, incompetent as in, she probably said everything was your fault. That woman filled her head against me. She told her to plan the divorce behind my back and make me feel like things are improving in the marriage. And 4 months after going to therapy, I was served divorce papers. So the whole time he thinks things are getting better, and then boom, one day, the guy shows up at the mailbox. Are you Mr. John? Yes. And here's the divorce papers. And you're like, what the fuck? Yeah. And by the way, that therapist, is going on a lot of information that she is telling her, that too, I might add. She was very confrontational about it when I asked her why didn't she just talk to me. I quit trying to talk to her and decided that what she did was not only stupid, but crazy disrespectful. It is crazy disrespectful. It'd been better off if she just told the guy, I've been doing the therapy, and no, it's not what I want, okay, as opposed to, deceiving him like this. In a month, I moved out of my house, and by the next month, I got a call that my wife has withdrawn the application for divorce. So I contacted my lawyer and filed one myself. In other words, he moves out. She now starts to realize this is serious. And it's not going to be so easy because obviously I've been married that long. No, never mind, I want him back. And he's like, I'm not falling for this trick 2 times in a row. Now I'm using this opportunity to file for divorce. My wife called me and wanted to talk, but I don't really want to do that. So I did not. Then my mother-in-law called and said that she had intensive talks with my wife, and my wife has realized that she made a huge mistake, and that the therapist was no good to her. That she was egged on by her and made her feel like I'm a bad person. Well, I'm sure there's some truth to that, because a lot of these therapists make the guy always have to be the villain here. He's not being patient enough. He's not being understanding enough. He did this. He did that. But also a lot of what the therapist is going on is based on what the wife was telling the therapist, Come on here. And gee whiz, notice the blame is on the therapist, not the wife, for being sneaking on behind his back, the therapist. Take some freaking accountability. I thanked her and told her that I want a divorce anyways. I actually quite like my mother-in-law. She raised my wife alone, and her father died when she was 2 years old. She is sweet, helpful, and reliable. So I did let her come to my house and talk to me. Okay, on the basis that she was good, he gave her a chance and made it clear, no. After what I've been through, because obviously she had to be pretty freaking bad during the pregnancy and then after the child was born. And again, yeah, I don't know what it's like to carry a little human inside. I'm sure that's miserable. But there are certain types of behaviors that a guy can, okay, I love her, she's going through a lot, as opposed to outright abuse. And there are stories I've gone through, guys go through absolute abuse when the wife is pregnant and afterwards, and that's just unacceptable. This guy's a right to do this, because there's already a bad situation, and that sneaky shit she pulled behind his back. I understand her perspective, but I want a divorce either way. There's a limit to what I can tolerate, and filing for divorce behind my back was a bridge too far. Right. He gave it a chance. He said before you did a divorce, go to therapy. Nope. And she put it behind his back. He's done. And when you're done, guys. And you know what? It's far better they divorce, and the child is raised in 2 different households where mom and dad can start over and hopefully have good lives and they're happy, as opposed to being married and miserable. He's done with her. But probably the mom is going to make it out to be the root of all evil here and raise that kid to hate him. I hope it doesn't turn out that way. Now, some comments here to prove... The comments were mixed. There were a lot of comments saying this guy was the big villain here, particularly from women. And there are other comments from guys saying he did the right thing. I think he did the right thing. Because you know what? Life is short. And you know what? They weren't married that long. And he can start over. This first one, this is therapist here. We got a therapist. A bad therapist can ruin your relationship faster than they will ever be able to heal it. That said, a therapist can only work with the picture the client paints, which is why every so often I try to bring partners in one time in a 3 to 6 month period to make sure the information I'm receiving is good. Right there, the therapist saying, look, yeah, they can do damage, but they're responding based on the info they're given. Another one. Filing for divorce is a betrayal both of the partner and the relationship of the same general magnitude as cheating, and no, you can't just take it back in exactly the same way that you can't just take back cheating, or can't just take back a slap in the face. This on top of the large quantity of emotional abuse she subjected him to leading up to this, as well as the duplicity required to dissimulate that things were getting better in the relationship while preparing behind his back to dump him the whole time. Right, that whole part's despicable. He has every reason to have no trust in her good faith, nor that what she presents to him in the reconciliation phase is genuine. Yeah, what if he comes back and she pulls this shit in a few months all over again? No, you can't have a relationship without trust. And one more, and this is a long one. This one says here, have to disagree here. This is abjectly sexist. You're excusing her behaving abusively over a long period as pregnancy, hormones, and the right thing. This guy's responding to somebody else giving him a hard time. As if he was one of the strong men, is to accept it what she did to stick around. No. She broke the trust of the marriage with her behavior, and OP is not in the wrong for not feeling the love for her anymore. Hormones are an explanation for how you feel, not an excuse for what you do or how you act. She broke her marriage vows, and her hormones do not excuse this. I have read so many stories about gals getting away with things because of their hormones, whether it be in relationships or outright like outbursts in the workplace or things causing a scene that get the police involved. Oh, it's the hormones, so she gets away with it. Bullshit. Because if that's how it is, then you're going to have disorder and chaos around all the time. People have to be, there are consequences for actions. If a man has a mental health issue and cheats repeatedly or rapes his wife, does she need to be one of these strong women and repair the marriage because it's the right thing to do and not force her son to live in a broken home? No, absolutely not. And men likewise do not need to tolerate profound violations of trust or abuse because women have hormones. No, just no. What you're saying is also fodder for the argument that women of childbearing age should not be hired in the workplace because pregnancy may cause them to behave erratically and destructively at work, and we need to excuse that because of hormones. This guy's hitting it right on the head here. Nonsense. Women are autonomous adults, and if they're to be equals in marriage, in the workplace, and otherwise, it can only be on the basis of the same accountability that men have. Amen. There you go. So I think this guy has every right to do this. He was pushed too far. Obviously wasn't happy. He was obviously enduring a lot. Okay, and it was a really bad situation. And again, sure, that's got to be hard carrying a little creature, a little human being for 9 months, and then things after that. But still, the guy you so-called love to be married to, you shouldn't get abused, and that's what was going on here, and it happens. And then he tried to make it work a little bit. Okay, go to therapy before we do this divorce thing, and the whole time she's lying to him. So when she finally lays it, he moves out, and she backtracks, and he's like, "Nope, I'm done here. I'm not going to be fooled. I'm not going to be Charlie Brown with the football." You know, Charlie Brown, the cartoon. Lucy, that little bitch, would hold the football and encourage Charlie Brown to run over and kick it. And every time he did, she'd pull the football away and he'd slip and fall on his ass. And then afterwards, she'd say, no, I won't do it. Finally, he would run up, kick the ball, and she'd pull it away and fall on his ass. He doesn't want to be Charlie Brown here, so I don't blame it at all. So this guy's handling it right, in my opinion.